I'm Gary Hess. He's Gary Criwwell. We're here at Douglas Freeman High School, where tonight Freeman handled Tucker 45-15, improving to 7-0 on the season. And the Rebels were impressive on both sides of the football.
Yeah, it was a good game, but I thought Douglas Freeman's ability to mix it up on offense and a really solid defense with they've got kind of a star at each level, at the defensive line, in the middle with the linebackers, and back in the secondary. And so there's a tough combination, but the game was competitive. And it was competitive partly because Douglas Freeman's quarterback, Laughlin, made a couple of mistakes. Probably, they were forced mistakes, but he made mistakes and put him back in the game. But, boy, did he make up for it with his execution, decision-making ability, and ability to throw the ball deep.
Freeman now 7-0, will be favored the next two games, could be on a collision course with Hermitage. That game looms week 10.
And it does, and, I guess I alluded to it a little bit when I said, the only way to pull an upset on any given Friday night is to be able to mix it up and keep the defense off balance. And Douglas Freeman is building a team that if they're going to advance in the playoffs, it'll be because of the way they attack you on offense.
J.R. Tucker was overmatched tonight, but Taj Conway is a great back, and this team is headed in the right direction.
And they have really good playmakers sprinkled on both sides of the football. They're going to be fine. They're going to be able to right the ship and get to 500 beforehand, and maybe even get into the Division V playoffs. And that'll be good for the program.
You look at the top of our poll, Cosby made Bird work for it, but the Skyhawks stay undefeated, and Hermitage and Highland Springs, again, very impressive.
And traveling and playing well and settling the issue very quickly, and that's important because both teams on both sides, Lee Davis up there in Mechanicsville and Manchester, that long trip you got to make him from Glen Allen to Midlothian is to go there and win big and get it over quickly. Very impressive.
Henrico pulls away from Atlee tonight and now is 6-1 on the season. And Henrico plays Highland Springs next week, and that will be our game of the week on Fox Sports 910.
And we're counting on the rivalry, kind of carrying that, into the competitive range, because if you look at a matchup of common opponents, it doesn't look good for the Warriors. But games aren't played like that, and it'll be a very emotional game. And Highland Springs has had to prepare itself for 2 trips in a row to Hanover, and they've done a great job. But can you keep that ball rolling? My guess is the fact that they're playing the rival next door in Henrico, and don't underestimate that rivalry. I think they'll stay awake for practice for the next few days.
6:30 airtime next Friday night on Fox Sports 910 for Henrico and Highland Springs. Should be a great one. But as we look around the area, teams continue to get in playoff position with this new format. Some teams that don't have, the records like a Bird or a Highland Springs or a Hermitage are going to be in position to do great things in the postseason. It's an exciting time of year.
It really is, and I wanted to point out one game that I think kind of reversed the course of some action in the Central District, and that's Meadowbrook beating Matoka. Matoka was on a great run. Adam Tiller had just righted the ship, down there in Meadowbrook, and we predicted that was going to happen. Well, maybe it started to crystallize this week.
Okay, well, it's an exciting time of year as we are coming down the home stretch of the regular season. He's Gary Criwwell. I'm Gary Hess.